If evolution rewards strength above all else, why did humanity not arise in the world's richest continent? From space, Earth looks quiet, stable and complete. But this calm surface hides a violent and ancient history. For more than 4 billion years, Earth has been constantly changing.
Deep within the mantle,
continents drift, oceans open and close, climates rise and fall.
Drift.
Life does not control these changes. It adapts to them. This process is called evolution. Evolution has no goal and no plan. It simply favors traits that improve survival and reproduction. Now imagine Earth as a vast evolutionary laboratory. Each continent runs a different experiment under unique conditions. Some regions remain cold, stable, and predictable for long periods. Others experience heat, drought, floods, and constant disruption. Europe, Asia, and the Americas shaped remarkable life forms. But none of these continents produced humans first. All lines of evidence point to one continent. Africa.
A land of stark contrast.
Not because it was easy, but because it was unstable.
Only to be quenched by the sudden terrain.
For millions of years, African climate shifted repeatedly. Forests expanded, then collapsed. Grasslands spread and retreated. Animals were forced to adapt, migrate, or go extinct.
A million animals moved.
Survival here favored flexibility over specialization. Over time, one lineage responded in a unique way. It relied less on strength and more on behavior and intelligence.
From these ancient fossils to the earliest
fossils, tools, and DNA all preserve this history.
Visible even in the strands of DNA.
To understand why Africa shaped us, we must go far back in time. To answer why Africa shaped us, we must first ask what we are. Humans belong to a group of mammals called primates. We are not outside this group. We are one branch within it.
But rather one branch within it.
The density here in
Today, scientists recognize roughly 500 living primate species.
500 species we're tracking.
They range from tiny mouse lemurs to massive gorillas. Despite their diversity, most primates share key traits. Grasping hands allow secure movement through complex environments. Flat nails replace claws, enabling precise manipulation. Forward-facing eyes provide strong depth perception. Teeth adapted for mixed diets, including fruit and insects.
Chimpanzees show
Their brains are relatively large for mammals of similar size.
Gorillas display brain proportions.
These traits did not appear suddenly. They evolved gradually. The earliest stages emerged near the Paleocene-Eocene transition. This period lasted approximately
Welcome back
from
to the
75
late
million
Cretaceous. Amidst
to
the giant
55
ferns
million
and
years ago.
cycads, life flourished. As the dinosaurs
It followed the
vanished,
extinction
a
of
new
non-avian
age began.
dinosaurs.
This tiny fossil, Purgatorius,
With dinosaurs gone, mammals rapidly diversified. Some of these mammals adapted to life in trees. One of the earliest known forms is Purgatorius. Fossils date Purgatorius to about 66 million years ago. At
This
first
is
glance,
the Purgatorius,
it resembled a
tiny
small
mammal
rodent-like
living amongst
mammal,
the relics of its ancestors.
but its ankle bones revealed remarkable flexibility. This flexibility helped it grip branches and move in trees.
An early forerunner to all primates.
Similar animals, called Plesiadapiforms, soon appeared worldwide. They showed some primate-like traits, especially in their teeth. But they lacked key features of true primates. Those early forms paved the way,
Deep within this vibrant
but
canopy
true
lives
primates
the Plesiadapiform,
had not yet
an
appeared.
ancient relative hinting
this strata marks the Eocene epoch, a period of
That
profound
changed
global
at the
warming
beginning
that
of the
transformed
Eocene
Earth
epoch.
into a vibrant tropical paradise.
Around 55 million years ago,
Around
Earth
55
became much
million years
warmer,
ago,
and the camera
Earth
captures
became
a
much
wide
warmer.
view of the lush green forest canopy.
Tropical and subtropical forests expanded across many continents. These forests
Here,
created
in the
complex,
sun-dappled realm of the
three-dimensional
upper canopy,
environments.
every surface is high
Moving
above the
safely
jungle
through
floor,
trees
bathed
required
in the
new
golden hour
biological
light.
solutions.
A family of Peru.
High in the canopy, the chimpanzee.
This is when true primates
This
finally
remarkable
emerged.
footage captures one male as he meticulously grows.
The earliest true primates are called adapids and homomioids. Adapids were generally larger and slower, similar to modern lemurs. Homomioids were smaller, faster, and more insect-focused. Both groups shared defining primate features. Their brains also increased in relative size.
The slow observational
Hands and
pacing
feet
highlights
could
the
grasp
sheer
branches
strength and
securely.
precision the primate's grip.
From the sharp claws of the loris, we see how
Nails
evolution
replace
favors blunt
claws,
nails.
improving
This allows for the
precision
dexterity
and
needed to
control.
delicately handle food.
Shoulder and wrist joints became more flexible.
While visually similar, a comparison
Their brains
reveals the significant
also increased in relative
and
size.
increase across the primates, from the macaque to
The howler monkey navigates the dense
These traits
canopy with
greatly
surprising
improved
agility,
coordination
a masterful
and
display of
balance in trees.
honed over millennia.
The blue coloration must be linked to the grassland.
Scientists have long asked
Yes,
why these
perhaps as a
traits
warning signal
evolved
in the
together.
open areas.
One explanation links primates to permanent arboreal life. Their eyes faced forward, allowing accurate depth perception.
The Philippine tarsier uses
Another
its
hypothesis
oversized eyes to
suggests
scan the canopy,
primates
demonstrating
evolved
incredible
as
agility
visual
as it
insect
closes
hunters.
in on its prey.
Asian macaques developed keen color vision.
Third
and
idea
dexterity,
connects primates
allowing them
to the
thrive
rise
on
of
the
flowering
bounty
plants.
of the angiosperms.
Fruits rewarded color vision and fine motor skills. These pressures likely work together, not separately. True primates unlock new ecological paths with lasting consequences. True primates unlock new ecological paths with lasting consequences. The next major step created a group called anthropoids. Anthropoids include monkeys, apes, and humans.
These anatomical features
These primates
reflect a shift
show more
toward
modern
more
anatomy
advanced
and behavior.
perception and manipulation.
The evolutionary distinction is clear.
Larger brains
Larger
and
brains
shorter
significantly
snouts
shorter snouts
distinguish
set
them
these
from
anthropoids
earlier
apart from their
primates.
adapted relatives.
Anthropoids first appear in the fossil record about 40 million years ago. Surprisingly, the oldest anthropoid fossils come from Asia. One of the earliest is Eosimias, discovered in China. Its fossils are dated to approximately 40 to 45 million years ago. Short heel bones suggest movement similar to modern monkeys. Additional fossils from Myanmar and Pakistan support an Asian origin.
This ancient map of the Tethys Sea
At this
illustrates
time,
the vast
Africa was
expanse of
isolated
water
from
that once
Asia
isolated
by the
continents
Tethys
of
Sea.
Africa and Asia.
This ocean connected the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. For land animals, Tethys was a major barrier to migration. Yet anthropoids eventually reached Africa.
Rising
They likely
dramatically from
crossed
the deep
using
blue
chains
ocean.
of islands
These volcanic
and shallow
islands
seas.
are a sanctuary for life. In the
Rafting on
vast
floating
prehistoric
vegetation
oceans,
may also have played a
entire
role.
forests break free.
These crossings were rare, risky, and purely accidental. But even rare events can reshape evolutionary history.
In the vast ancient
Once in Africa,
forests of Africa,
anthropoids
sunlight
entered
filters
a
through the
new
dense
evolutionary
canopy,
arena.
creating a vibrant habitat.
Africa offered diverse habitats and strong environmental pressures. These conditions encouraged rapid diversification. From this point, Africa became central to primate evolution. But the story was far from over.
Here, deep below the
The next
rainforest
chapter would be
floor,
shaped
the slow dance
by
of
geology
mantle
itself.
convection drives the tectonic plates.
Anthropoids reached Africa, but Earth itself shaped what happened next. Beneath the surface, powerful forces were slowly at work. Heat from Earth's core drives convection in the mantle. These slow currents move tectonic plates over millions of years. Africa has not always been where it is today.
This lush canopy
During the
existed
early
during the
Cenozoic,
early Cenozoic,
Africa
a time
drifted
of
steadily
significant
northward.
Geological change. The African
Ahead of it lay the vast Tethys Sea.
In this deep
This
prehistoric
ancient
era,
ocean separated
the
Africa
supercontinents
from
of
Eurasia.
Africa and Eurasia were separated by the vast.
Over time, Africa began colliding with Eurasia's southern edge. This collision reshaped continents and closed ocean gateways. One key region was the Arabian Plate.
This ancient map reveals
Arabia split from Africa and drifted
the Arabian
northward.
plate is slowly, inexorably pulled.
Volcanic activity uplifted land in East Africa and Arabia. This process created island chains and shallow seas. These features reduced the barrier between Africa and Asia. By around 20 million years ago, land connections emerged. This connection is known as the Gomphotirium land bridge. It allowed animals to move freely between Africa and Eurasia.
These primates move with a clear purpose. Weighing several
Large
tons,
mammals
the
crossed first,
Gomphotirium is a true
including
giant of
early
the
elephants.
Miocene, moving slowly across this
Primates also used this new route. Closing the Tethys Sea altered global ocean currents.
While the jungle thrives
These changes
today,
reshaped
these climate
rainfall
models
and
reveal
climate
a disturbing
patterns.
trend. The shift from blue to deep.
Parts of Africa became drier, while others grew wetter. New ecosystems emerged, from forests to open grasslands.
Here,
These shifting environments set the stage for a new primate experiment.
at the edge of the unknown.
Africa's shifting landscapes created powerful evolutionary pressures. Forests expanded, fragmented, then reformed repeatedly. Primate populations were often isolated, then reconnected. This cycle promoted diversification and rapid evolutionary change. One major split separated Old World and New World monkeys. New World monkeys somehow reached South America from Africa. At the time, the Atlantic Ocean was much narrower than today.
This remarkable floating carpet of
Rafting on
vegetation
floating
glides
vegetation
quietly along the coast,
is the leading
its
explanation.
roots trailing deep beneath the sunlit surface.
Clinging to the
This
floating
journey was
vegetation,
rare,
these
accidental,
prehistoric travelers
but
navigated a world
evolutionarily
very
decisive.
different from our own.
Those primates became New World monkeys, isolated in South America. The primates remaining in
High in the
Africa
canopy,
became
the
Old
Hanuman
World
langurs
monkeys
move
and
with
apes.
effortless grace.
Old World monkeys adapted to both trees and open environments. Apes followed a different evolutionary path. Unlike monkeys, apes lost their tails.
The fragmented forest
Slow
provides a
development
sanctuary
supports
where the complex
larger
social
brains
bonds of the
and
chimpanzees
complex
are strengthened
behavior.
through acts of grooming.
The earliest known apes appear in Africa around 20 million years ago. One of the best known early apes is Proconsul. Proconsul lived mainly in East Africa. It had an ape-like skull but a monkey-like body. Crucially, Proconsul had no tail. This combination marks a key transition toward apes. Apes continued to diversify as environments kept changing. Africa had become a dynamic center for primate evolution. But this stability would not last forever. The next phase would test apes like never before. Africa had become the cradle of ape evolution.
These pathways illustrate the incredible journey as species
But apes would
migrate
not
outward
remain
from the
confined to
African
Africa.
continent in search of new territories.
Around 20 million years ago, climates began warming globally. This period is known as the Miocene climatic optimum. Warm temperatures allowed forests to spread across Eurasia. Forest corridors connected Africa, Europe, and Asia. Apes expanded rapidly into these new habitats.
These remarkable fossils reveal the incredible
Fossils
diversity
reveal a
of the
remarkable
Miocene age,
diversity
our distant
of
relatives
Miocene
thriving
apes.
in this lush landscape.
Some lived in European swamps, others in dense Asian forests.
Amidst the dense canopy,
Dryopithecus
the
thrived in Europe
navigates its
between
arboreal
9
home,
and 12 million years
utilizing
ago.
its long arms to reach the
It had long arms, flexible joints, and an ape-like brain.
The fossilized molar,
Dental
perhaps
evidence
millions
suggests a
of years
slow
old,
growth pattern.
reveals the sheer scale of the creature that once. As the young gibbon
Slow
observes
development
the adult,
supports
it begins to
larger
mimic the
brains
movements.
and complex behavior.
This slow, careful.
But this golden age of apes did not last. Global cooling intensified during the late Miocene.
This tranquil ecotone
Forests
marks the edge
retreated
of the forest,
as climates became
place where the
cooler and
grasslands
drier.
are beginning to dominate.
Many Eurasian apes lost their habitats.
This tranquil ecotone
One by one,
marks the edge
most
of the
Eurasian
forest,
ape species
a
went
place where the
extinct.
grasslands are beginning to dominate.
Dryopithecus was among those that disappeared.
Connecting the rainforests of two continents. This map
Only a
highlights
few
the
regions
crucial
remain
ecological
suitable for
corridors
apes.
between Africa and Southeast Asia.
Africa became the primary refuge for surviving ape lineages. Asian survivors would later give rise to orangutans and gibbons. African survivors included ancestors of gorillas, chimpanzees, and humans. This uneven survival reshaped the future of primate evolution.
As the golden
The
sun
stage was now
rises
set
over the vast
for the
grasslands,
human lineage
we
to
witness the
emerge.
cradle of life.
After the Miocene collapse, only a few ape lineages remained. One African lineage would take a radically different path. This split marks the origin of the hominin lineage. Genetic evidence places this split around 7 million years ago.
With incredible strength and agility,
Chimpanzees remained adapted for life, mostly in
every
trees.
branch in this fragmented landscape.
But hominins increasingly relied on the ground. This shift introduced a defining trait: habitual bipedalism. Bipedalism is rare among mammals and unique among apes.
Our journey begins in Central Africa, focusing on
The
Chad,
earliest fossil
where the
hints
lush,
come from
sun-dappled
Central
forests
Africa.
are teeming with life.
Sahelanthropus tchadensis lived about 7 million years ago.
This opening, the foramen magnum, is positioned directly
Its skull
underneath
shows
the
a
skull,
forward-positioned
unmistakable
foramen
evidence
magnum.
of bipedal locomotion.
This suggests a more upright head posture. About 1 million years later, Aurorin appeared in Kenya. Aurorin tugenensis dates to around 6 million years ago.
The contrast is clear. The
Its
human
femur
femur's
shows
sharp
adaptations for
bicondylar
upright
angle and
walking.
developed condyles reveal the definitive.
However, climbing adaptations were still present. This mix reflects a transitional way of life. A clearer picture emerges with Ardipithecus. Ardipithecus lived about 4.5 million years ago. Its pelvis and legs indicate regular bipedal walking. Yet its grasping big toe reveals strong tree use. Early hominins were not fully terrestrial yet. African environments were becoming more open and fragmented.
The emergence of bipedalism allowed Ardipithecus to scan
Bipedalism
the horizon,
proved
a
efficient
crucial
in these
adaptation to
changing
this
landscapes.
environment.
This adaptation would shape everything that followed. Early hominins had begun walking upright, but evolution did not stop there.
This new data reveals
A new
the
and diverse
astonishing
group
diversity
soon dominated
thriving
Africa.
across the continent, from the Atlas Mountains to the
These hominins belong to the genus Australopithecus. They lived between 1 and 4 million years ago. Fossils are found across eastern and southern Africa. Australopithecines were habitual bipeds. Their pelvis, knees, and spine show clear human-like adaptations.
While visually complex, the brains of the macaque and the
Yet their
gorilla
brains
are
remain
surprisingly
small,
remaining
closer to
closer in
apes than
volume to other
humans.
apes than to humans.
Long arms and curved fingers reveal continued climbing ability. One famous species is Australopithecus afarensis.
Here,
A
nestled
partial
in the ancient
skeleton
soils
named
of this
Lucy
fragmented
represents
forest
the species.
lies one of the most significant
Lucy, who lived about 3.2 million
Lucy
years
lived
ago
about
in this region.
3.2 million years ago in Ethiopia. Her anatomy confirms efficient upright walking. Even more
Here at
compelling
Laetoli,
evidence
the intricate details
comes from
of these
ancient footprints.
reveal how
These footprints were preserved at Laetoli, Tanzania. They date to about 3.6 million years ago. The prints show heel strike and toe off like modern humans.
the forest floor holds secrets.
They
for
also
those who
suggest
know
group
how to
movement
look.
across the landscape.
These deep parallel tracks.
Why bipedalism became permanent remains debated. No single cause explains this major transition. Energy efficiency over long distances offered clear advantages. Upright posture also improved heat regulation. Free hands allowed carrying food, tools, or offspring. In Africa's changing environments, bipedalism was repeatedly favored. Australopithecus locked this trait into the human lineage. Australopithecus had mastered walking, but survival demanded more than movement alone. African environments continued shifting, becoming drier and less predictable.
In the heart of the fragmented
Food
forest,
sources
a crucial
grew
drama
scattered and
unfolds.
increasingly
The gray wolf
competitive.
pack asserts its dominance, but the
Some Australopithecus populations adapted better than others. Natural selection began favoring larger brains and greater flexibility. This gradual shift marks the transition toward the genus Homo. The genus Homo first appeared in Africa around 2.5 million years ago. One of the earliest representatives was Homo habilis. Homo habilis retained Australopithecus-like bodies, but had larger brains. Its most important innovation was stone tool production. These simple tools are known as Oldowan tools. Oldowan tools date back to about 2.6 million years ago. Tools allowed access to meat and nutrient-rich bone marrow. This diet supported further brain growth over generations.
Homo erectus appeared
A
around
later species
1.9
pushed these trends
million
even
years ago.
further. Homo erectus also produced Aculean hand axes. Its body proportions closely resembled modern humans.
Longer legs
improved endurance
facilitated
and long-distance travel. Brain size increased significantly compared to earlier hominins. Homo erectus also produced Aculean hand axes. These tools required planning, learning, and social transmission. With these advantages, Homo erectus expanded beyond Africa. Fossils from Dmanisi show this happened by 1.8 million years ago. Yet Africa remained the evolutionary engine of the human lineage.
From orbit, the
Humanity
majestic
emerged
continent of
because Africa
reveals its
kept testing
vibrant,
adaptability
yet increasingly
and rewarded
fragmented
it.
green heart.